After leaving Apollo Bay, the next day was spent inland, crossing the coastal Ottaway Range. It was 80 kilometers of the hardest riding yet. The hills were long, but the views were really good. It looked a lot like the Northern California coast. Traffic wasn't bad. I camped at Princetown. This is where I saw my first kangaroos. They were alongside this wetland, but they were too far away to photograph. The next leg was back along the coast and into the 12 Apostles National Park. Traffic was light and the riding was pretty flat. There was a lot of turnoffs to get up close to the cliffs. This section of coast is really amazing. I made camp at a small town on the coast. The next day it was quiet roads through dairy farms. My last stop here in Victoria is Port Fairy. Both the town of Port Fairy and the hostel I stayed in were so interesting I stayed 2 days. At its peak in the 1850s, this port was the second busiest in Australia. The old buildings around town are really interesting. Tourism has replaced shipping, but there remains an active fishing fleet operating out of the harbor. In the evenings, cockatiels roost by the thousands in the trees around town. They make quite a racket. A sand dune area near town is home to a large colony of seabirds called short-tailed shearwaters. They travel all the way from Alaska to raise their young in burrows in the sand. Every evening, the adults come in by the tens of thousands to their burrows after feeding at sea. These pictures don't really capture the magnitude of the flock, but this is rated as a peak experience with regard to wildlife encounters for me.
Are you a little stinker, huh?
Swamp wallabies live in the middle of this colony and are easily approachable. After consulting with locals, I'm changing plan and have decided for safety's sake it's best to take a train the rest of the way to Adelaide. I've enjoyed the riding, but I'll take that up later. Busy roads, heavy truck traffic, and limited scenic value make the risk to reward ratio a no-brainer. Next stop, Adelaide by train.
There you go.